Starting. Yeah. Hello and welcome into the channel. What is going on? I am Matt O'Leary, joined by a good friend of the show, Connor Long. Connor, how's it going today?
Matt, I am doing well. It is cutdown day. It is here, a long summer. Been a long time since I've been able to share the screen with you and hear that intro, and we'll be doing it hopefully for a minimum of 15 games this season. Hopefully we get some more than that, Matt. Hopefully we're previewing some playoff football for the first time this fan base has done in well over a decade. Hopefully we're talking about this team winning more than 7 games for the first time in over a decade. But nevertheless, great to be with you, my friend. Shout out to all you guys in the chat. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. Continue to support Matt and I. Subscribe to both the channels. Matt's, of course, at Matt O'Leary and Y. Mine and Y Flight Jets Talk. Fun day. Just seeing all these roster transactions go through because it's been a minute, with the exception of the 2 trades that we saw last week where we're seeing these roster transactions just flow one by one. The moves, you can critique some. You can be really pleased with some of them, but happy to dive into everything with you here on the show. And we're going to get the full depth chart shortly, so stay tuned for the in-depth analysis, folks.
Yeah, we'll stay live till the depth chart comes out. Hopefully, it comes out right after 4 o'clock. I don't want to be on for 2 hours today. That wasn't my plan, but definitely wanted to go through some of the names that we did see cut. And I wanted to give you a shout out because you were breaking some news today, Connor. I was following along with the Connor Long page on Twitter trying to find out who was getting cut today.
Well, I appreciate that, Matt. Yeah, today was a fun day. It was the first time that I've been able to break some cool stories. Hopefully not the last time, but nevertheless, there were some interesting moves made today. One that I didn't break today, but I found super intriguing was the fact that this team is moving off of Brandon Smith. This is someone who I understand Allen Lazard is coming back. I understand Allen Lazard's going to be healthy with the shoulder injury, but you physically couldn't have asked anything more out of Brandon Smith this preseason, leading the team in targets, finishing second in yards, I believe it was, among pass catchers. So I wasn't all that pleased with the Brandon Smith cut. The one that really upset me was placing Quentin Skinner on waivers. You could argue that Smith has done more, but I just think the upside and the athletic ability in Skinner is unmatched. So some intriguing moves at the wide receiver position today, Matt. And if they roster Xavier Gibson over Jamal Pritchett, I'm going with my pitchfork to one Jets drive all the way from here in Italy, Matt.
That's the one that's going to the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will, for Connor. But I think that's a great place to start is the wide receiver position. And I started to get the feeling yesterday that Brandon Smith might have a hard time making the roster after we found out the news that Allen Lazard is healthy and expected to go in week 1. This isn't me saying that if I was the one making the decisions that I would choose to keep Allen Lazard over Brandon Smith or Pritchett or Skinner or really any of those guys. But with the phrasing of it, it really made me feel like, okay, like the Jets view him as someone who's going to be on this team and make the roster. And when you're going through, I had a really hard time finding a spot for more than 6 wide receivers. And with Pritchett being a punt returner, it looked like all throughout, preseason and training camp, he was kind of the leader in the clubhouse there. To me, he had the edge as that 6th guy. So while it stings to see both Skinner and Brandon Smith, personally, a little bit more for Brandon Smith for me, I just thought he had a really nice camp, catches everything. It showed that off in the preseason. I hope he makes it back to the practice squad, but it's not a guarantee. There's a lot of wide receiver needy teams in the NFL.
Certainly not a guarantee. A team that I circle one spot ahead of the Jets when you talk about waiver claims here is the Las Vegas Raiders. They picked 6th in the NFL draft. We got the reports that I'm sure we'll indulge into because I already see people hyping it up in the chat about Jacoby Myers being on the trade block, them looking to shop Myers. Let's say they deal him. Brandon Smith on the waiver wire. They stake claim over the Jets. They could be a landing spot for Smith, but I circle Skinner as the main guy I'm prioritizing to get back here on the practice squad. When you talk about how many receivers this team carries, I do think it's 6. However, I think they have a higher chance of carrying 7 than they do 5, if that makes sense. I've seen some people on Twitter throw out the fact that they think the Jets are going to roll with 5 receivers, which pretty much wouldn't leave any room for Jamal Pritchett because you'd have Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, Arian Smith, Tyler Johnson, and Alan Lazard. I don't think they're going to roll with 5. I think it's 6. Then I pray to God that Pritchett is that 6th guy because the explosiveness there, the juice that I'm so happy he was able to showcase in the Eagles game, something I've been talking about since May. I'm so happy he was able to show it at the fan base because there's some meat on that bone, Matt. That agility, that ability to miss tackles, just how agile he is on his feet and how explosive he is. That you can't let that go, Matt.
Yeah, I'm with you. Also, too, on Pritchett, like you mentioned it in that Eagles game, I thought is really where he set himself apart with the yards after the catch ability. I think we saw it at times during training camp, but in these preseason games, it really felt like that third one against Philadelphia is when he took that next step and showed something a little bit more offensively, right? Like we know that, in each one of these games, he was returning punts. I thought he did a solid job, obviously muffed that first one in the Eagles game. But as Aaron Glenn mentioned, like had an opportunity to get back out on the field and made plays after that, which is a good sign to see him bounce back from. So I would really at this point be surprised if Xavier Gipson does make the team over Jamal Pritchett, but that's one of the areas that I think we're going to be watching.
Certainly, and I think, the Jets like Gibson, and they've shown that. Aaron Glenn hasn't shown anything downgrading Gibson or his abilities, but he's potentially a candidate for this short-term IR what we talk about here because he's dealing with a shoulder injury as well. The Jets could pull something off where they keep Pritchett as that 6th man, that punt returner, then Xavier Gibson's on short-term IR, buys you a few weeks before you have to make a tough decision.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Short-term IR. That's where I thought Alan Lazard was going to go. Honestly, yeah. I thought he would be a good candidate for short-term IR, and that's maybe how Brandon Smith would end up making the team out of camp. But that obviously is not going to be the case. Were there any other ones from today that really stood out to you, cut-wise, as notable?
I would say Jarek Bernard-Converse, but at the same time, I wasn't all that surprised just because how deep this secondary is. Which surprised me is the fact that they didn't trade him. He's someone I tabbed that's not sourced, that's not anything. That's just a personal opinion. He's someone that I tabbed as a player who could potentially be on the move. I know we saw ESPN's Jeremy Fowler list Carter Warren as a guy to watch on the trade block. Ultimately, he got released earlier today. I said JBC because he has trade value, his ability to play on special teams, the way he stood out in the preseason coverage, that goal line stand inside the 1 yard line against the Eagles was certainly pretty. He missed the first preseason game, but the last 2, he certainly made his presence felt there. So I would say probably releasing Jarek Bernard-Converse and not bringing him back, not keeping him on the 53-man roster was a bit of a surprise. I could see him on the practice squad, but boy, oh boy, Matt, this guy showed the juice. There's a chance he gets claimed.
Yeah, I do think there's a chance that he gets claimed, which is, a little unfortunate. I thought he had a really good camp. And preseason. I was pulling up some of his numbers while you were talking a little bit. Just a guy who I know they're deep at that position, but Bernard-Converse is someone, he was drafted 2 years ago now in 2023 and has been around a little bit, but he's someone when you toss him out there, yeah, he was a 6th-round pick. Like, he can play a little bit. He looks like he belongs. He doesn't look like he's in over their head or over his head. But I guess maybe they like what Quantez Stiggers can add for them on special teams. He made a couple nice plays in the preseason. I wonder really if it's going to come down to they could have only kept one between Bernard Converse and Stiggers there.
Definitely. I think you have to roll with Stiggers, though, Matt. Ultimately, he's been the healthier one out of him and JBC. And I think he's going to be the starting gunner to open the year. I know we saw Jamarcus Weston and Bernard Converse as those two guys in the final preseason game. I tab Stiggers as that guy who's able to step in for Irv Charles to open the year. We see the explosiveness on special teams. And like, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Stiggers because of how seasoned I think he is on special teams when you talk about experience as a whole. And just the fact that he was healthy for all 3 preseason games, and he's overall more of a healthy player than JBC has been throughout his career. 2 years in the league, Matt, Bernard Converse only appearing in 15 games.
Yeah, that's true. You point to the injuries there, obviously a little bit of a big difference. And he had if memory serves correct, he had a good training camp a year ago too. And I thought, maybe he would compete for more opportunities with DJ Reed walking. But as we know, the Jets signed Brandon Stevens in free agency. Then they draft AZ Thomas, and suddenly guys like Quantez Stiggers and Jarek Bernard Converse are pushed further down the roster.
Certainly. And, you talk about the secondary, someone that I tab in this secondary who I think is a roster lock right now is Isaiah Oliver. And the reason that I tab him is because of the versatility that he offers in this scheme. Boundary corner, nickel corner, played safety under Steve Wilkes in San Francisco. The Jets waived Dean Clark earlier, which tells me one of 2 things. They're either keeping Jarius Monroe or they're just rolling with 3 true safeties, and you have Isaiah Oliver as that 4th hybrid type guy. How many guys do you see in rolling with this team in the secondary?
Yeah, that's one of the areas that I'm going to be most interested to watch. I think it's probably going to be 9 or 10, right? In both, if you're including both corners and safeties. I think 4 safeties would be obviously Malachi Moore, who you just drafted, Andre Sisco, Tony Adams, and then probably Isaiah Oliver. Although it depends on where you list Oliver. Do you want to list him as a corner or a safety? I think personally, I would have him listed as a safety. And then, you have your 3 starters in Sauce Gardner. You have Brandon Stevens, AZ Thomas. I would then say Quantez Stiggers after that is 4, which puts us at 8. And then who am I missing?
So you have Brandon Stevens, Azaria Thomas, Sauce Gardner. Those 3 guys, obviously, roster locks. Quantez Stiggers, Isaiah Oliver. That would be 5 guys. Michael Carter II. Then the 3 safeties would be Malachi Moore, Tony Adams, and Andre Sisco. That would be 9 guys.
Okay, then I think it's going to be.
Yeah, Dean Clark was the one bubble guy I thought you can make a case for because just watching him fly around these final 2 preseason games was certainly fun. His big playability. He's another guy, though. Putting him on waivers is a risky move. He showed this in college. He showed his ball hawking ability. He had a handful of top 30 visits. I don't know if he gets through, but if he gets through, you got to keep him on the practice squad. I will say I do think that we can expect a couple more cuts maybe before the depth chart gets released, because keep in mind, folks, not every single cut is reported or announced ahead of cut down day. We see the whole official roster roughly around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today when the Jets will release it themselves. But those, Matt, I think are the notable ones that we covered today.
Absolutely. I wanted to pull up this comment. Shout out Green Bean's watching with us. What's going on, Green Bean? He says, as long as LT3 makes it, all is well. Connor, I don't know about you, but I think it's tough from a numbers game for him to make it. I think he's in some trouble here. What do you think?
Yeah, it's certainly a tough situation, and he would be a hard player to lose, Matt, because he's the second best true pass rusher on this defensive line. In my wholehearted opinion, I think he fits greatly right behind Quinnen Williams on the depth chart as a guy who comes in, gives you 15, 25 rotational snaps a game as Quinnen's backup. I don't think he fits well next to Quinnen just because they're kind of a duplicate of a skill set there. However, I'm prioritizing a guy like Leonard Taylor III over Byron Cowart. I know that sounds crazy at first glance because Byron Cowart is someone that was talked about in OTAs, talked about in minicamp. Training camp is the favorite to be this defensive tackle too, next to Quinnen. I think Harrison Phillips and Jawan Briggs are two clear upgrades and potential replacements for Coward, who continues to deal with an ankle injury. If anything, if Coward's fully healthy and he can't go on short-term IR with the ankle injury, which I think you and I both hope is the case because that buys the Jets some time, similar to the Xavier Gipson situation, I'm staking claim over LT3 ahead of all those guys, though, Matt, because this is someone who came in as an undrafted free agent last year, outplayed all expectations, and you see the upside.
Yeah, I definitely see the upside there. And you mentioned something that I was going to bring up, which was the short-term IR. We talked about it with Alan Lazard. I think Byron Cowart is definitely a candidate for that. It's been a few weeks since we've last seen him, and the defensive tackle room has really changed a lot since he's been gone. You brought in Harrison Phillips. You brought in Juwan Briggs, who had a really good camp with the Browns and was making some headway. Tefele's been, a fan favorite, especially after that first game against Green Bay. I think he's going to make the team. But if they're keeping 5, then I think you would need Byron Cowart to start on short-term IR, because if he doesn't, while I hear you on your argument to keep Leonard Taylor, I just think the Jets would go with the veteran in this instance in Cowart.
And I get it. To be fair, this regime also took Coward and signed him this offseason in free agency. LT3 was a UDFA from last year that this regime inherited. So in that sense, Byron Coward is their guy in this situation. If you want to go down this route, his seat's certainly hot because I think he got rid of Derek Nottie, but Jawan Briggs, Harrison Phillips entering the building, a bit of similar skill set with Jawan Briggs, just Leonard Taylor III, a little lighter of a guy. His spots is certainly on the bubble. I'm not calling Leonard Taylor III a roster lock. Frankly, I think it's a 50-50 toss-up right now, and we'll get the answer here, hopefully in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep an eye out. There hasn't been, since we've been live, there hasn't been any new additions cut-wise, but DTN, I think, brings up an interesting point. Says, I think the 10-end room should just be Taylor and Smart. I think Jeremy Ruckert's been a guy that we've talked a lot about. Yep. Do you think I'll phrase it to you like this. Do you think he makes the team, or do the Jets go the waiver wire route to replace Jeremy Ruckert?
That's such a tough question, Matt, because Jeremy Ruckert wasn't selected by this regime, but we've seen the confidence in the way that Aaron Glenn has kind of had about him, talking about him earlier on in training camp. If I had to make a prediction today, again, it's not sourced, just off the top of my head, I'd say they go to the waiver wire route. I reported earlier today that the Jets are a team of heavily interested in tight end Jelani Woods, who hit the waiver wire today. He's someone who's garnered a ton of interest around the league, the Jets being a team that very, very interested in Woods. He's someone who graded higher as a blocker than Ruckert throughout the preseason. He is someone who has more athletic ability, more upside as a pass catcher. The thing is the health, the injuries, when you talk about a player like Jelani Woods here. Jelani Woods was a third-round pick out of Virginia in 2022, played 15 games in 2022, kind of a modest season, a little over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Since then, however, Matt, he has not appeared in an NFL game yet. Last time appearing in an NFL regular season game, played in the preseason this year, was 2022. You certainly have to worry about the health, but the athletic ability is unmatched. Perfect 10.0 RAS score is what he posted at the 2022 NFL Combine. This is someone who is 6'7", gives you a big frame, can play special teams. If I had to make a personal opinion, I think they roll with, they try to get Woods. There are not too many teams ahead of the Jets in the waiver wire priority list that are going to stake claim over a tight end. I'd say Jelani Woods, the New York Jets, just a personal opinion here.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Also, the Giants cut a tight end today too, that I think they could potentially.
He's an awful blocker. That's the thing. Like I thought I was hoping Daniel Bellinger, Matt, because I was following that battle between Dulcich and Bellinger. But I was watching some film. I was looking at some analytical grades. Dulcich, I'm hearing, is a worse blocker than Ruckert, which I didn't even know was possible. But we can't go in that tier. So I would say the Jets should steer clear of that realm.
Yeah, of the two, I would definitely rather go the obviously Jelani Woods route. I just think it makes a lot more sense for what the Jets need. But I did see that link. I don't know how accurate or not it would be, but that's an area that I think the Jets should look at the waiver wire at, because, unfortunately, Ruckert hasn't really had a good preseason or training camp. And, like I said, I don't know if his spot is written in stone right now.
Certainly, because he gives you no value as a pass catcher, which is fair. Tight end twos, I think anything they give you as a pass catcher is just a bonus. When you talk about the style of offense this team's going to try to run, they're going to try to pound the football. They're going to try to run the football down opposing teams' throats. Thing is, Ruckert is not a good blocker either, has ranked among the league worst over the past few years. So I think anyone other than Greg Dulcich is an upgrade blocking-wise when you talk about Jeremy Ruckert here. So I don't get the fact how the Jets are in love with him. They talk about using him in the H-back fullback role. Well, you have Andrew Beck for that, who's also a versatile piece, can run routes for you, has played tight end before. I don't see where he fits. I don't get the rationale in rostering him.
No, I certainly don't either. I think it's definitely a tough one. Green Bean came back and put his stamp on Jelani Woods, UVA guy. We know he loves his UVA guys. And look, it's at a position of need too. I think before the Jets made their 2 trades, or I guess 3, if you want to count, Derek Nottie trade also at defensive tackle, that might have been the position we talked about the most. But I think tight end is honestly not too far behind that on time spent talking about that position in training camp.
Painful. I've written the line, I think, like 3 or 4 times in JetX articles this year. The Jets' backups, which to open the summer were Stone Smart, Jeremy Ruckert, Zach Kuntz, and Neil Johnson have since been cut. Over the past 3 seasons, those guys have failed to combine, keep this in mind, contribute 650 yards and a touchdown. So that's how poor the tight end room has been when you talk about the depth options here. You hope Mason Taylor steps up, and you hope these guys can give you something as blockers.
Weege has a question, wants to know, not sure if it's been said, but how does the waiver priority work? I know we are 7th, but does that mean we can pick up anyone who makes it past the first 6 teams?
So this is how it works, Weege. On cutdown day, it's a little different. During the regular season, it's typically 24 hours should a player get released. But on cutdown day, the deadline's 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where teams have to be narrowed down to 53 players. Basically, the waiver order is the same as the draft order. I don't know if you play fantasy, but fantasy's different because it's auto-generated each week. That may be a bad example, but it's just the draft order, 1 through 32. The Jets are 7th in the waiver order because the Jets picked 7th in this year's NFL draft. And the way it works, the player gets placed on waivers. All 32 teams get notified. Teams have until 12 p.m. Eastern, noon Eastern time tomorrow to put a claim in for that player. And whatever team who put in a claim and is highest up on that list will land the player. That's how it works. Was that good enough, Matt? Do you want anything? Do you want to add anything there?
No, I think you absolutely nailed it on the description there. So that is, hopefully we'll find out pretty quickly here. We're coming up on 3:30, 4 o'clock is when these rosters are due. So kind of just, waiting for some final news. We've been live for 23 minutes and haven't gotten any additional cuts notable for the New York Jets. But I did just see on Twitter, I have you on one screen, I got Twitter on another, just to make sure I'm not anything here. But I saw a retread one from what I've seen earlier, but it was a little bit of a talking point. The Giants cut Tommy DeVito also. Is Tommy DeVito a player that the Jets should look to bring in as their quarterback 3, or are you rolling with Brady Cook?
Tommy DeVito, Matt, I think is just as bad as Zach Wilson. And I'm not even saying that as a hyperbole or anything of that nature. I think you have the elite quarterbacks, you have the above average starters, you have the good starters, you have the below average starters, you have the backups, blah, 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 blah. Then you have Zach Wilson, Tommy DeVito. I think that's a completely different tier. I've tried to compare it to the Linsanity run with the Knicks, except Linsanity was actually competent and almost, brought this team into a deep playoff run compared to Tommy DeVito, who had one okay game on Monday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers. I have absolutely no interest in this guy. He doesn't fit the scheme whatsoever. He struggles accuracy-wise. Just think of him as Zach Wilson, turns the ball over. I don't even know how I can indulge into it and explain anymore. No Tommy DeVito for me. The other guys I'd rather explore than Tommy DeVito on the open market are Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Tyler Stoop Huntley, above them all. I think the Jets roll with Brady Cook ultimately. However, whatever you do, no Tommy Cutlets, Matt.
Yeah, I don't think it's something the Jets are going to end up doing. They seem to like Brady Cook, and he, with his running ability, I think he kind of fits in this offense. Not that I thought he was particularly great, but maybe they view him as a developmental option. I don't think you have to worry about someone claiming him and putting him on the 53-man roster. I think we're going to see the Jets carry 2 quarterbacks with Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor, and then Brady Cook on the practice squad. If for whatever reason, I know that Aaron Glenn said that this week that he expects Tyrod to be good for week 1. If there was any concern about Tyrod, I think maybe that's when you see a veteran quarterback addition. But I like some of the names that you brought up instead over Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I don't like Dorian Thompson-Robinson at all. I think he is a bottom tier when you talk about quarterbacks. I view him as nearly unwatchable. The reason I say DTR is because he can do the run and gun style offense. He can get out of the pocket with his legs. I'd prioritize Snoop Huntley over him. But at the end of the day, we're talking QB3s, QB4s here. I think Brady Cook's the Jets guy, and he's on the practice squad.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to describe what's going to happen here. We got mixed in the chats. We got Anthony saying no DeVito. Jetster says no Vito.
No.
Leany says Tommy Cutlets, no thank you. Then we did have one. Here we go. Johnny says, nah, we need the Italians for the Jets rebirth. There it is.
Oh God, no. I saw tweets comparing him to Vinny Testaverde. I was like, Vinny Testaverde, what a disgrace that is, Matt. Tommy Cutlets is nothing, Matt.
Yeah, that's disrespectful to Vinny T, who had his late career resurgence with the New York Jets. Here we are hanging out on cutdown day. We have just under a half hour, 29 minutes until we find out the state of the 53-man roster. We talked about some guys that we were surprised with cut-wise, but are there any players that you haven't seen the official news come out that you're expecting them to be one of the 9 guys that end up being released?
By the way, you said about 30 minutes covering training camp, covering this team in person with the beat reporters. That's 30 minutes regular time, Matt. That's probably about 45 minutes jet time. Jet time is something that I've been introduced to. That's a little different than regular time that you see on the clock. So I just wanted to throw that in there quickly. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players that we're going to see that just casualties when the depth chart comes out that we haven't seen yet. I mean, you could rattle off a bunch. You could rattle off Harrison Mevis, Jackson Sermon, guys of that ilk. But when you talk about true roster bubble players, Donovan Edwards is a name that I haven't seen officially get cut yet, which is a little intriguing because I know Isaiah Davis is supposed to be ready for week 1, but we know the way that teams manipulate the IR nowadays. They could say there's a setback and then roll into the year with 4 running backs on the 53, that being Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Kene Nwangu, and then Edwards as that 4th guy while Isaiah Davis goes on IR. So there's that route they could explore. Probably Xavier Gibson as well at the receiver position. I know we touched on him earlier. If we're talking defensively here, Jarius Monroe, I didn't expect him to make this team. I thought he was a practice squad guy. The fact that he hasn't been cut yet tells me maybe the Jets are trying to get him on the roster. Also, the fact that they moved on from Jarek Bernard-Converse as well only strengthens that case.
Yeah, we already talked about Leonard Taylor. That's another one that I think, I'm watching for. I know a lot of people are going to be hoping that he makes the team. I also hope he makes the team. I'm not ready to give up on him, but I think his path is going to be a little bit on the tough side. Xavier Gibson, just because I feel like that's a bigger name. Again, and I've said it, but I would rather have Pritchett on the roster over Xavier Gibson. But that's one that we don't know. I love the call out on Donovan Edwards. I know he was kind of a fan favorite in camp, but I think Kene Nwangu is going to make the team as the 4th back and also be the kick returner for the Jets.
Matt, listen to this travesty. We have, how many people do we have when we switch over? 849 people watching right now. And guess how many likes we have across all platforms? 83, Matt. 83. Oh. So guys, smash the like button. Hit subscribe. It is completely free of charge, completely free. And it continues to help Matt and I grow as we cover this football team, despite them not winning over 7 games in a decade, despite them not making a playoff game in my lifetime. Frankly, continue to support the show. Continue to smash the like button, hit subscribe. I completely agree with your Nwangu takes. I mentioned him as a roster lock entering the preseason finale there. So I think he's on this team no matter what. Something that stuck out to me, though, was the juice that he had offensively. What he showed on offense, averaged 4.8 yards, I think it was a carry against Philly, and then 5.2 against the Giants. Like, is an RB4 going to get that much time running the ball?
No.
Probably not, but his vision, his ability to lower his pad level, something I found intriguing. So he maybe gives you some value there as well on top of special teams. Plus, he could be a gunner. We saw that against the Giants, getting downfield on that punt. Props to Austin McNamara of like 4.5 seconds of hang time, I think it was.
He's been on the field, by the way.
Oh my God, he's been on fire now.
Sorry to cut you off, but I just needed to toss in
problem.
there that McNamara has been really good and exceeded my expectations so far.
Matt, I covered the first training camp practice. Austin McNamara's first punt, I will never forget this, like 20 yards off the side of his foot into the crowd. And I was like, oh my God, what was this team thinking? And since then, you know, I've gotten a lot of my takes right about this team. I don't care if I'm right personally. I just care about this team winning football games. Someone who has pleasantly surprised me is Austin McNamara. So props to him.
Absolutely. There was a veteran just released in the NFL that maybe we could see a connection to at a position of need. Tony Jefferson, a fan favorite of the Chargers, was released. Still a little bit surprising that he was cut. Jordan Schultz says Jefferson turned in an outstanding preseason, posting a 93.5 PFF grade, and his beloved in locker room still has plenty left in the tank. He is an older player. I don't necessarily know if the Jets are going to be looking to bring in a 33-year-old to start for them or play for them, but that's a name that I feel like Jet fans have talked a ton about over the years.
So much about Tony Jefferson, Matt, and man, oh man, he's fun. He's a fan favorite. Don't want him here. I'd rather roster Dean Clark before I rostered Tony Jefferson. And, you know, nice nugget there from Jordan Schultz. I like how he's able to go in depth on the player a little bit there, so the fan kind of knows what they're talking about. But hard no for me on Tony Jefferson, Matt.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be making a push to use my first waiver claim on Tony Jefferson, right? But I don't know. I wouldn't get upset over it if it was something that they did, but am I going to actively talk about like, oh, this is an obvious one that the Jets need to pull? I'm not quite there either.
Certainly. Like, look, if they sign him, okay, but if it means that you're passing up on Jelani Woods for him, then that's where I draw the line. Like, you got to stake position of need and young guys with upside before you make a move for him.
Yeah, and that seems to go against some of the signings that the Jets have made, right? They've gone for the guys in their mid-20s with upside, and you know that doesn't really fit what Tony Jefferson is at this point in his career. Yeah,
you want to sign Tony Jefferson? Perfect. Go get me Zadarius Smith, who remains on the open market, because the excuse with him is he's 32 years old. So, look, you can. I'm all for just bringing good football players into the building. So if that means sign Tony Jefferson, great, but also go get me Zadarius Smith, because edge is a position of need. Speaking of edge, you think Tyler Barron's on this team? I've heard fans speculate that they don't think he is, but I don't. I think his spot is more than safe.
Yeah, I think so. Not that he's really looked all that great, but I think they're going to keep a guy that they just spent a draft pick on. And they also traded up for Tyler Barron too, which is another reason for me to believe that he's going to make the team. It probably comes down to, I guess, him or Braden McGregor. Or do you think they can carry both? How do you think the edge room shakes out, I guess?
So the way I think the edge room shakes out, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens, Tyler Barron, Braden McGregor, 5 guys on the edge. Kingsley Jonathan opens the year for you on the practice squad alongside Eric Watts. That's the way I think they roll out the year. Michael Clemens will make this team, as much as we hate it, as much as we complain about it as fans. That's the hard truth at the end of the day. I think you roll with 5 edges, then 5 guys on the interior.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way that it goes, 5 and 5. And if that's the case, you know, maybe that's how Braden McGregor gets on the roster. I just thought, you know, he had a really strong game to close things out against the Eagles. Wasn't going down without a fight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw the explosiveness. I was watching him on the edge throughout most of the game. That spin move's nice, taking a page out of Will McDonald's book. We saw that last preseason, too. It didn't translate in the regular season, however. I think the Jets need to get an efficient run stuffer off the edge. That's why I really, really like Zadarius Smith on top of his ability to rush the passer. All of the Jets' edge rushers are awful against the run. McDonald's improved. We saw a small stride throughout the preseason, but overall as a unit, they need to get better.
I've seen a few people in the chat bring this name up, so I want to pull it up.
Yep.
Ryan Zapardi chimes in, says, if it comes down to wide receiver 6 on waivers, do the Jets grab Trey Palmer from Tampa Bay over Pritchett?
That's tough. Palmer's 24 years old. He has the upside. Came off a rough year, 15 games, 172 yards, and a touchdown. Look, the upside's there for him coming out of college. He hasn't it was a 6th-round pick a few years ago. That really hasn't translated to the NFL level. I'd personally say Pritchett. I think he's more explosive. I think he's a sharper route runner. I want to hear your thoughts here, Matt. I understand if you say otherwise, but I'd say Pritchett.
Yeah, so I like Palmer. I think there's a chance that he might be a better receiver at the NFL level over Pritchett, but my question would be then who is returning punts for you if Palmer makes it over Pritchett?
I'd say Andre Cisco. Hot take there, Matt. I saw him work a ton throughout training camp. Chris Banjo spoke to the media the other day and spoke about the importance of him knowing how to guide the ball into his hands as to why he was taking those reps there, punt returner. I'd say Andre Cisco, but he has not returned punts at the NFL level. I don't even know if he did it at Syracuse, Matt, so you might have to dig all the way back to high school when Andre Cisco last returned a punt. That's a dicey game.
No, it definitely is. And look, Palmer, I think definitely raises the floor, I guess, of this wide receiver room, because let's be honest, outside of Garrett, it gets rough pretty quickly. But I think they're going to stick with their own in this situation with Pritchett. But I understand why Palmer's a name that keeps coming up here.
Oh, definitely. Cut from the Bucks, high upside, speedy, explosive downfield threat. I get it, but give me Jamal Pritchett.
Oh, I like this one from Jetster. Pritchett will be our Sproles. I hope he's as good of a returner as Darren Sproles was.
You hope he is, and I think he can be, Matt. Just seeing a glimmer of that explosiveness, special teams offensively, you can't miss it. You can't. That's something you don't want to expose to waivers. I can't emphasize it enough. You don't want to expose that to waivers because you have your guy. You don't want to lose him.
I agree. Now, someone that I've talked about a lot, and I think will make the team, but I've seen some people say that this person might not make it initially and then may get on with some of those roster gymnastics that you see at this time of year, is Andrew Beck. Where do you stand with Andrew Beck? Do you think he makes it right out of the gate? What's the take here?
I think he is on the initial 53, Matt. I think he showed enough that I think the reason he made no impact in the final 2 preseason games because he played one game. He stood out throughout training camp. It was their first free agent signing, which is always intriguing to tab. And we saw him truly stick out in the first preseason game. And I think the Jets said, you know what? We've had enough of you. We'll play you minimally, however, these final preseason games. So I think he secured his roster spot, frankly, after the Packers game. I understand he wouldn't have to clear waivers since he's a vested veteran, but talking about Nick Bawden and placing him on waivers, in my opinion, is a lot different than talking about a player like Andrew Beck and risking missing him.
Yeah, I don't want to lose out on Beck. I think he's, arguably their best blocking tight end, right? Like, I know he plays a lot of fullback too, but you could line him up.
I'd say so.
Yeah, but you could line him up at tight end, and he could essentially be this team's tight end too, which I still look at as a big issue. I know Stone Smart made some plays as a pass catcher and had that, obviously, that viral block against Abdul Carter, but that's not really his game. He's not known to be a great inline blocker. So I think they need a player like that on their roster. And Beck has shown more than Jeremy Ruckert. So to me, it has to be Beck. I would be very surprised if he doesn't make the initial 53.
Most definitely. I had Robbie Sabo on my show yesterday. He made a great point. He thinks all teams need to go with 4 tight ends / fullbacks, which I found a little interesting because, the Jets rolled with 3 last year, Matt, right? Because Nick Bawden wasn't on the team.
No, he was not.
I'm trying to recall. So it was Conklin, Yeboah, and
Ruckert.
Ruckert, that's who it was. I don't even want to relive last season, so I'm doing my best to just X all of that out of my brain. So Ruckert, Yeboah, Conklin it was. And they had Ferkser during training camp, but he didn't make the 53. Yeah, so they rolled with 3 last year. I think it's 4. I think the versatility of a player like Andrew Beck is going to prove to be pivotal.
Yeah, especially with how much this team wants to run the ball too, right? Like that's going to be the
Yes.
bread and butter of this offense. And I know, he had the 2 catches against Green Bay. It was awesome. Love that. He's not going to make this team because of those 2 catches. He's going to make the team
No.
because of what he can do as a blocker at both fullback and at tight end.
Certainly, and I think that versatility reminds me like the Isaiah Oliver of the offensive unit. That's the way I kind of view it. He could do a lot for you. He spruces it up. He gives you the versatility, which I think will be crucial when you talk about running the football. Like you said, line him up in the backfield, line him up in line, line him up in the slot. Could do so much for you.
We got a super chat. Thank you so much, Lou, for the support. He says, if Michael Clemens sacks Rodgers, does he win the Jets fans back? What say you, Connor?
Shout out to you, Lou. Thank you for the super chat as always. You did on my channel, which much appreciates. That will get you raffle entries, my friend. Appreciate the support. As always, look, obviously it'd be great to see Michael Clemens sack Aaron Rodgers. Would he win the fan base back? Absolutely. Would he win the numbers game back? Definitely not. So that's the, Jet fans like to be emotional, which I love. I'm a Jet fan who acts like that myself. But look, at the end of the day, if Michael Clemens sacks Aaron Rodgers, I will be just fine with him, and I will regret everything I'm saying about cutting him right now here on the show. If he sacks Aaron Rodgers and it's in garbage time when it's 26-0 Steelers, hopefully we don't get there. I don't think we'll get there. Then maybe not. But if it's, during the game, first play of the game, give me a Michael Clemens sack, inject that into my veins. Matt O'Leary. Indy Jets said on my channel that he thinks Michael Clemens going to have 8+ sacks this season.
Whoa.
So
8+.
High expectations. Yeah.
I'm not quite in on 8+, but I would love it if Michael Clemens gets a sack in week 1. The guy that I'm watching for, I know this is a completely different direction, but I think Will McDonald's going to have a big day in week 1 going up against Broderick Jones and that storyline, right? Like, oh, the Jets should have taken Broderick. Not that he was available, but, Steelers move up. They take Broderick right in front of where the Jets were going to go. The Jets take Will McDonald. But, I mean, please get me whoever it is. I don't care if it's Michael Clemens or Will McDonald or whoever sacking the quarterback. I just want to see a Jets victory in week 1, but I do think it would go a long way to winning back over the franchise or the fan base of this franchise. Chris also sends in a $4.99 super chat. I don't see a comment attached with it. I'm going back through the chat.
I don't think he meant to comment. Yeah, I think it was just supporting the show. So much love to you, Chris. Shout out to you, my friend.
Love it. Thank you so much, Chris, for the support on the show. How about this one? Just wanted to pull up a quick one from Alan. It says, Connor, did you ever watch Sproles? So I know I mentioned that one before, but Darren Sproles, are you familiar?
Yeah, he played. What was he? He was drafted though, right? Unlike Pritchett, what was he? A day 3 pick? He was with the Eagles, right?
He was with the Eagles at the end of his career. He was a 4th-round pick by the Chargers.
Okay, Chargers it was. Yeah, I've heard the name. I haven't watched him. It's kind of like Matt, the David Clowney situation. Like you remembered him as a Jet. I was not alive to see him. I remember him for some reason being a Panther, and he was a Panther, and I didn't watch him. So I seem to remember these guys from the back end of their career. So Darren Sproles, if you're talking about the Eagles here, yes, I do know who Darren Sproles is.
Hey, man, it still counts. He was an Eagle up until 2019, played until he was 36 years old. But yes, from me growing up when I was your age, he was a Charger and a damn good one with LaDainian Tomlinson. They had an awesome backfield. Another super chat. Chris J says, just support and keep up the great work. All Chris, you're the absolute best. Thanks to fans like you, Connor and I are able to do these live streams and come on, the air and talk with you guys.
Most definitely. Thank you, Chris. Always a blast doing this. It makes it even more exciting when you guys support the show. So shout out to you, Chris. And guys, the super chats, memberships, they go such a long way. But always remember, just smashing the like button, hitting subscribe contributes just as much to the channel and supporting Matt and I. And that's completely free of charge, and it goes a long way. So make sure you do that again, Chris. That's 2 more raffle entries for you on the channel. We appreciate the support, as always, here on the show. By the way, Matt, Jets legend, on the loose, Chaz Surratt.
I was just going to pull it up. You read my mind. I was going to say former Jets news. 49ers are cutting linebacker Chaz Surratt.
Oh, yeah, baby. Chaz Surratt on the loose. Come back to the Jets. I don't think so. But So, some former Jet news. I saw Xavier Valade got cut today, which is intriguing. And my first thought went to the fact that is this even worthy of a tweet? But then I realized how hypocritical that was because I reported today that the Jets cut linebacker Aaron Buggs Smith. So I realized, hey, maybe I shouldn't really comment on that situation because I reported a no-name player getting released today as well.
No, it totally it happens. I'm a part of me surprised that Chaz Surratt was able to shake free. You know, Robert Saleh absolutely loved him. I'm sure it was a numbers game in San Francisco, but that was one of those where I feel like I heard Robert Saleh talk up Chaz Surratt so much during that 2023 Hard Knocks season.
Certainly, and yeah, I thought he was going to San Francisco because of the Saleh fit and what Saleh had to say about him during Hard Knocks. So look, I hope he get an NFL opportunity. He's a fun story, just like tight end Stone Smart, a college quarterback at UNC, converted to linebacker, special teams. So I have no doubt that he'll find a home. Practice squad or 53, that remains up in the air.
We are now 10 minutes away from the time where rosters are due. We're going to hang out until we find out the Jets' final cuts. Make sure if you're just joining us, drop a like on our stream. It really helps us out a lot, both live on my channel and on Connor. So like, subscribe to both channels really helps us out a lot.
Oh yeah, baby. Undoubtedly so.
Let's see. I wanted to go back to the chat for a second. Pat chimes in and says, I thought Aaron Buggs Smith had a shot. He never got the opportunity. He kept coming in the game in the fourth quarter. He was nice. He hit the speed too, better than Jamin Davis. So Jamin Davis also doesn't make the roster. That one was a little bit of a surprise for me. I thought he would make the team, Connor.
Yeah, and it's intriguing. I heard an insider, it was Antoine Staley, I think, say on the Jake Asman show, he just didn't think he flat out made the team. So that's not source, that's not anything. Antoine may have sources when he's given that opinion, and I'm sure he does, but he doesn't think Jamin Davis is even going to revert back to this team's practice squad. So that's interesting. When you talk about Aaron Buggs Smith, this is someone who came out of South Carolina State, I believe it was this year as a UDFA. Stood no chance of making this roster. Didn't catch my eye in the preseason. He was on the NFI injury list to open the year. So, look, he stood no chance. Just one of those casualties like we saw with the Pokey Wilsons, Neil Johnsons of the world this year and like the Al Blades of the world last year.
Yeah, that's a good call out there with some of those deep cut New York Jets. And this time of year, I like to try to remind people that while we all have our personal favorites and guys that we root for to make the team, we're arguing over like guy number 51, 52, and 53 on the roster. Like, I just think we have to keep that in perspective a little bit here, Connor.
I know, and that's what I find fun, Matt. Like summer, when we talk about 53-man roster predictions, not only is summer great because I don't have school and I don't have any of that stuff, but like I like just shooting the stuff, about 53-man and like arguing should the Jets carry 3 or 4 quarterbacks. Like I'm one of those fans, I'm one of those analysts, reporters where I enjoy like getting into the nitty-gritty of things and digging into the weeds where maybe you're reaching a smaller portion of fans because it's the true diehards who you're reaching. But man, oh man, those are the fun times in my opinion. I like just messing around. Is Brady Cook gonna make the practice squad? Is he not? We'll talk about that. But Matt, by the way, my summer reading book, I mentioned it there. We had to read one mandatory book, which was terrible.
What was it?
It was called like The Diary of a Part-Time Indian, or so. I think that's what it was called. The title of the book. I had no interest in the book.
Never
hated
read
it. But then I had to pick an optional one to read, and I remember I have the Aaron Rodgers book, the Out of the Darkness book, and that is what I'm reading as my second book. And it's like I put out a tweet about it, and I tagged Ian O'Connor because it's been an incredible book. I've always hated reading. That book, as much as I dislike Aaron Rodgers and I don't think he was the right fit for this team, that book, the overall story and just how great of a job Ian O'Connor did, literally has helped rejuvenate my love for reading.
I like that. See, I'm not much of a big reader either, but Ian O'Connor is a great writer, so I'm not surprised to hear that it was a good read. I haven't gotten around to it, but maybe I have to get back on my summer reading here.
Yeah, you don't miss it though, right, Matt? You don't miss it?
No, I don't. That wasn't things that I loved. Although one year for summer reading, I chose a book about I forget what it was called, but it was about 1969 in New York with both the Mets and the Jets winning. I was like, that's right up my alley. I think that was in seventh grade.
Yeah. That sounds fun. Like that's something, and I think you have to do. I think I have to do a project on the optional book. So I won't even need to really add. They don't check the annotations either, so I don't even really need to annotate it. Frankly, I don't even really need to read it because I literally know the ins and outs, the everything about Aaron Rodgers. So I could just go into the project and do that blindly, just from how much I've had to freaking talk about the guy and cover him for 2 seasons. So I don't even think I really need to read it, but I am because the book's great.
Some super chats to get to. Edward chimes in, says, love the show, go Jets, and then sends in another one, a 20 spot after that. Thank you for the support, Edward, saying go Jets.
Edward, 10 raffle entries for you, my friend. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for the support as always.
Blitz Crew wants to know, who's your summer Jets crush that we cut?
Skinner. Give me Quentin Skinner.
Great answer. That was one of the ones that I was thinking about. Leonard Taylor's another one who I think could potentially be people's draft, not draft, but roster guys that end up getting cut. I think Donovan Edwards is going to be a popular one. I understand.
I don't like Edwards that much. And I don't mean to cut you off. Like, people were going crazy and drooling over him after one preseason game against the Packers' third-team defense. He averaged like 2 yards a carry, I think it was, against the Eagles, and he did nothing against the Giants. Look, I understand he was great, and to average 7 yards a carry, even if it was one season at a Big Ten school and the caliber of program that Michigan was and still is, frankly, that takes talent. But I mean, what are we talking about here with Donovan Edwards? Let's get over that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. That wasn't a player that was really on my radar, but I think after that performance, a lot of people were talking him up. There were talks about, you got to move on from Breece Hall and roll with Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis and Donovan Edwards as the three. I don't think that one is one that's going to be surprising for me personally, but maybe for some others. Some NFL news before getting back into the chat here. It looks like Kyle Duggar is going to end up staying and making the 53-man roster.
Oh, interesting. I saw they were going to deal him. I was like, why would you do that if you're the New England Patriots? Intriguing. I wouldn't have traded for him personally. I think he's done.
I think so too. I'm more so surprised just because it felt like the narrative was changing to where it was almost like guaranteed he was going to go, whether it be by just being cut or
released.
Yeah.
Certainly. So to see he's sticking around tonight, I always like to see the veterans get taken care of. Like, unless you're causing problems off the field like Aaron Rodgers, if you're a veteran, I want to see you get taken care of.
Yeah, it's really tough for these guys. It's a tough day. A lot of people are losing their jobs, man. The rosters are going from 90 down to 53 all in one day. So you feel for them.
Oh, certainly. And like that, some of the guys that I think of are like just the end of the rosters guys who work hard but just literally stand no chance of making the 53-man roster, like Pokey Wilson, like Lawrence Toafili, like Neil Johnson, those guys. It's like, man, they're obviously so talented that they're even auditioning for an NFL team in July, but like they can literally do anything. Look at Brandon Smith, who had a higher chance, or astronomically higher chance of making the roster than those guys when the summer first kicked off. He did everything he could and didn't even make the team. So it's disappointing in a bunch of different ways. By the way, our guy Rookie New York, Matt, ordered a Lawrence Toafili jersey and a Pokey Wilson jersey, given his allegiance to Florida State. So next time I talk to Rookie, I will have to ask him if the jersey arrived before cutdown day, because I was filling in for Jake Asman right ahead of the Giants game, I think it was, and he had just ordered it, and it was like the parts unknown route. So I don't know if it arrived before cutdown day.
No, but that's going to be an all-timer when he pulls up to wherever he is in that. Like, imagine going to a Jets game and you see a Pokey Wilson jersey. That would be an insane pull.
Yeah, definitely. And he has a Travis one too. So I don't think he's the only Jet fan with a Travis jersey. I'm sure, some lunatic bought a Travis jersey. But like Pokey Wilson, Lawrence Toafili, I don't even know if their families bought jerseys of them. Like especially Toafili signing with the team midway through training camp. Ricky might be the only one owning that jersey. So shout out to him. I went the parts unknown route. I will be ordering these jerseys shortly once I get a chance and I'm back home. A J2 Fele jersey and an Austin McNamara jersey. Those are my 2 next purchases.
Those are solid choices as well. Love that when you can go deep in the bag on the jersey pulls. David says, Connor, you were likely very correct about your assessment of the value of Hendon Hooker in the early offseason. Good call. He performed well in training camp practices, but he flopped in all Lions preseason games.
First off, shout out to you, David. You are the best. You're in the raffle. 10 more entries. I appreciate it. And a lot of people, I was big on Hendon Hooker earlier in the offseason as a potential backup for the Jets. A lot of people denied it right away. A lot of people did not like it at all. Look, he went into the preseason. He balled out. He balled out during training camp, like you mentioned, David. He's on the open market. Should the Jets not have Brady Cook, or if they have, for some reason moved on from Brady Cook in a sense and didn't have a true QB3, I would say target Hendon Hooker. But at this rate, it's too little too late. I'm looking for Hendon Hooker, though, to find success somewhere, because that's another disappointing story, in my opinion. Like, he was on pace to be a Heisman finalist that season at Tennessee and got killed against South Carolina. And now the guy's 27 years old, and I don't think has started a regular season football game. But nevertheless, thank you so much for the support, David.
No, yeah, and I wasn't a huge fan of the idea of bringing in Hendon Hooker. I don't see it. And clearly Detroit doesn't really see it. We'll see where he ends up, but yeah, he was older quarterback prospects. I'm a little bit wary about. That's just a me thing personally.
Most definitely. Over 1,100 of you guys watching us live. So thank you for joining us. Smash that like button. Continue to hit subscribe. Subscribe to both of our channels, of course, completely free. Helps us grow a ton. Super chats, memberships go a long way. Matt's, of course, at Matt O'Leary and Y. Find me on Flight Jets Talk. Continue supporting the show by liking the videos, by hitting subscribe, because that's what allows us to do it. Matt, it allows us to talk about this awful football team every single day. And it's your full-time job to sit and talk about this team, Matt. And it's probably going to be mine once I finish with school and get all that stuff out of the way. But, Matt, talking about this team full-time, are there some days where you just wake up, especially in the dead period, and you're like, do I really have to talk about a Bleacher Report rumor about some rando tweeting that the Jets should trade for Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, May and June is a little tough. That's the worst time for after, or no, I guess when was the last mini camp? I guess early June. From that point to the start of training camp is the worst, especially because like the weather's nice. I'm like, do I really want to sit inside? Like, I want to go outside and do something.
Yeah, it's tough. I actually took a break this year, which was, I think we went over that. I took a little break during that time, which was fun, but getting the algorithm back on the my side was not fun. But now we did it after like a week of daily content and well into months and months of daily content now, sitting here on August 26th, and we're backfiring on all cylinders. But yeah, talking about when we start talking about, Bleacher Report rumors and things like that, that's when I'm like, all right. Or when we talk about Glenn establishing a culture and players buying in for the 9,000th time, that's where I draw the line.
I totally get that. Abbott chimes in.
Hey.
This is Connor's last season being into the Jets. Pretty soon he's going to be really into girls, but don't worry, Connor, you'll be back because, as Artie Lang said, ...
Never leaving this team.
Anywhere. I was going to say, I don't think you're going anywhere, Connor.
You can, Matt, this is what I always say. It's, Jet fans can complain about this team. Jet fans can say how I'm not watching this game. I'm not watching them play. We heard of the ton last year. But at the end of the day, you can't escape the Jets. Let's be real. You and I both know that. We can sit and say, we're boycotting this team. We're getting rid of our season tickets, talking from a season ticket holder perspective here. This team will always get you to spend money. This team will always get you to buy in no matter what the circumstances are.
We got a new member of the channel. Shout out Jetstream 1989. Thank you for your support here on the live stream.
Most definitely. Shout out to all you guys. You're the best. Matt, already 4 minutes late. This is what I mean. Jet time, real time, 2 completely different realms.
It is 2 completely different realms. Do you think this is going to be we have to wait until 5 o'clock scenario, or are you hoping that this comes out like pretty soon?
I have a crazy memory. It was 518 last year, Matt. So
Jeez. Okay.
we don't know, but having a chat that's lively, having a chat that's engaged in the show makes it a lot easier for us. It's not like we're just sitting here and repeating ourselves.
No, and I was gonna say it's definitely easier watching one or waiting, I guess, with you, but then
Yeah.
also over 1,200 in the chat with us from all three. It's Connor's on his channel and Twitter. I'm on my channel. So thank you for coming to hang out, and we'll let you know as soon as we hear something here.
Most definitely. Just waiting for that tweet from the Jets, because the second the Jets put out a tweet, it gets 90,000 reposts. So once that 50, I have my phone right next to me. Once that 53-man roster comes out, my phone will blow up. And it's already crazy to think it's only, 4 p.m. where you are, Matt? It's 10:05 p.m. Eastern, European time where I am right now. So it's tough, but only a few more days of this before I am back on real time.
Back on real time. And I mean, I hate to do this to you, but it's going to be coming up on school time pretty soon too. So you got to get back into your routine.
Yeah, school time is not fun. I gotta fix the sleep schedule for school. I can't help it. It's like 12 to 7 during the school year, and my bus is picking me up at 7 this year, so I might have to go like 11 to 6. It's gonna be an unmitigated disaster, but we'll cross that bridge when we're forced to. At this juncture, just soaking it all in, Matt. I think I have a week from today. I go back to school, so
That's tough.
one more week, and then but the bright side that I always enjoy is football's on. So I start school, I get like 2 days into school, and then Thursday night football kicks off, and that's always great. I like that, there's so many holidays and stuff that we get off for early in the year. So like I don't think we truly have like a 5-day week, multiple 5-day weeks until like a month or so into the school year. So kind of easing my way back is what helps.
Austin chimes in, says, you two prepared to quiet the riot that starts when Gibson makes the roster. I hope Austin's not on the money with this one.
Yeah, I do not hope so either. I'm at a loss for words, as you could see me stuttering for here on the show. Like I don't even want to waste airtime on Xavier Gibson, Max. I've talked about him so much and how he's so inconsistent and things of that ilk. It's just like, I'm done. I give up. I give up, Matt. This team with Xavier Gibson, man, if they roster him, I'm going with my pitchfork to Florham Park.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you on the red-eye flight back. You're gonna drop everything, go to the airport, fly back, and then get your pitchfork ready. Pitchfork ready. I don't know why.
Matt, I'm sure that the season's back up. Your ad rev's probably doing well. You can pay to red-eye me back into the States. I can stay at your house, and
perfect.
We will make the trip together to Florham Park.
Okay, it sounds like a plan. We're in on that. Count me in.
Awesome. Let's ride.
So some other NFL news, just, as we said, we're kind of waiting around. The Chargers are moving Najee Harris to the active roster from the non-football injury list. So Harris is recovering from his injuries, the facial and otherwise, sustained in a fireworks accident, but has been working to get back. That's a good sign. So he makes their 53. Can't really say that's all too surprising, but did see that Ian Rappaport tweet, so figured I'd pull it up.
Najee Harris's agent tried to play it off when it happened. He's lucky he didn't blow his face off. It's insane, like the way that fireworks are built and can hurt someone nowadays. So lucky that he's okay, but the agent was trying to make it like it was no big deal and he just needed a quick surgery and he would be back. This is something I think we can see dragged into the regular season when you talk about the health of Najee Harris.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not the first one. We had the JPP one where he blew off, like 3 fingers. I don't know. These players, man, you have these contracts. I'd be nervous about losing millions of dollars with these fireworks.
Oh my God, who was the Mets pitcher, Matt? I'm gonna drive myself crazy with the chainsaw on the shrubs with the thing. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go crazy.
The post shows Bobby Ojeda.
That's Bobby Ojeda. That's what it was. I was like, I'm gonna drive myself crazy thinking about that. Yeah, that's what happened with the Mets as well. So yeah, scary place. The fact that JPP is still playing football amazes me.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing it he's did it for a really long time after that injury.
Definitely.
We got a hot take that I wanted to pull up here in the chat from an Arctic Turn. I think I said that right. Hot take. I think we claim a quarterback too today. Tyrod will be out week 1, and we will pick up some uninspiring vet quarterback and practice squad. Cook, what do you think of this hot take?
I think Tyrod's healthy for week 1. I mean, if it was Robert Saleh giving these updates, I'd say otherwise because, a player could be out with hamstring tightness and then the next day he needs to get his leg amputated. That's just how inconsistent Robert Saleh was with injury updates. But Glenn has been pretty accurate. I think Tyrod will be ready for week 1. In the case he's not, I wrote a few weeks ago, I know some of you threw comments in the chat about it, about the team trading for Jameis Winston, Huntley, any of those guys I'd be okay with. Just no Tommy DeVito whatsoever.
I like Jameis. That was, I think, maybe the free agent quarterback I talked about the most for the New York Jets, even over Justin Fields. But I think the Giants are going to end up keeping their 3 quarterbacks. I know that you could make the argument for them to just ride with Russell Wilson and not carry Jameis Winston, but I don't think that's what they're going to do. I don't think they trade him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the way that the Giants handle that. See, all the reports and talking to some Giants reporters, it looks like they'd be willing to take anything in return from him. And I think he would gel well with the Jets personally. When you talk about locker room, when you talk about an established quarterback who's played NFL snaps before, when you look at their quarterback room, obviously you have Jackson Dart leading the way, Russell Wilson. You could keep DeVito on the practice squad. Kind of similar situation with the Jets if you think about it, except the Jets didn't draft a quarterback in the first round.
So wanted to pull this up because we can't have nice things, but the Lions, they already released theirs. What the hell, Jets? You guys are falling behind.
And the Lions are in a different time zone too. Am I right, Matt? Am I? Is that Central Time?
Gotta be I would think Detroit is Central Time.
Let's see. They are. It is 6. Oh my God! Here in Italy, they show everything in.
No, it's Eastern Standard.
Okay, it's Eastern. So, I was about to say, if that was Central Time, I'd be livid. Still a little upset, but come on. It's always the Jets. It's like, come on. Like, you'd expect the team that continues to have season ticket holders after not winning more than 7 games in over a decade would typically be the first team in a cordial manner to put out everything for their fans. Meanwhile, it's a team that has been just as bad as the Jets, but have just gone into a renaissance. So come on, Jets, stay with that blood.
Yeah, so we are now just over 11 minutes past the top of the hour. We'll have you updated when it finally comes through. Just doing the old Twitter refresh. It feels like one of those
free agency, yeah.
Said at the same time, the free agency streams, just looking for the news to drop.
Just anxiously perusing around Twitter. An account, Justin Freed of the Jet Press, Matt, does an incredible job with this stuff. He's the only Jets account, I think. He's the only account, frankly, that I follow on Twitter and have notifications for when it comes to Jet news, because he's literally is the first to react to every single move. So that's what I rely on. The second I get a notification on Twitter and it's him, I'm like, boom, all right, the Jets made a move. So that's my route. But yeah, anxiously refreshing Twitter is never fun.
No, I don't have the post notifications on for the Jets because there's just there's too many, which I know you might say, then why do you have for Adam Schefter? Yeah. But I feel like there's at least like just news. Like I don't need to be notified when the Jets send out like a social clip of them trying to pronounce towns in New Jersey or something, you know?
Definitely. As we sit here and anxiously wait, Matt, do you want to explore opening up the phone lines, perhaps see if any, because I know a lot of people in the chat, we can't get to every comment. So you want to see if some people want to get up here, give their takes?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's drop it in.
Yeah, I'll throw it in my chat for sure. And I will pin that for all you guys. So, and I'm sure Matt will do the same. So if you guys want to call into the show, get up here on the screen while Matt and I anxiously wait, give your takes. Phone lines are now open. Again, pin linked at the top of the chat on both of our channels. Load up your calls. We'll get to those. We appreciate you. As always, Matt, is your camera, I've been wondering this podcast-related question here, is your camera like separate than your computer? Is it a different angle?
Yes, I use a DSLR camera. It's a Canon. Okay. I can take a picture of it, but it's right above where my computer is.
Okay, that makes sense because I've seen podcasters, and because I know you have a professional camera, I'm just using a webcam right now. I've seen podcasters where they have like their monitor where I would be on the screen perhaps in like a completely different way than where the actual laptop is. So when they're looking into the camera, they're just staring straight ahead, and I'm my face to the side, which I found interesting. So I wanted to see what your location was like.
So that's what I'm doing now. It's essentially like a teleprompter that sometimes I'll drop right here, and it's like a window. I could have you up there, but when I'm running a StreamYard, I like to have it more easily accessible, and this is kind of far on a smaller screen. So you are technically, I don't know if you can see, but you are on this monitor. I'm looking straight at it.
Interesting. I like it. Robin Boy Wonders drops in. Shout out to you, Robin Boy Wonders. Raffle entry says, Connor, no cutlets unless you bring it from Italy. Matt, I have not had a single chicken cutlet while I've been in Italy. I'm going to be completely honest.
I was going to ask, is that a thing in Italy, or is that more Americanized? Because I know there's a lot of Italian cuisine that's really more Americanized than it is, like chicken parm, for example.
I am not the right person to ask because I got to Italy and I was so excited. The first meal that we had, I sat down. I'm like, oh my God, some penne alla vodka, penne alla vodka or chicken parm. What should I get? And I literally got laughed at because I had no clue. I've grown up in New York. I've lived the style of a New York Italian. And then coming to Italy, you get laughed at for like asking if they have these things. Completely different realm. I will say the style of pizza, for those who haven't been, is like entirely different than New York, like crazy different. It's nothing like New York pizza. It doesn't taste the same. It's solid, like true Italian pizza is great, but it's just very different. The thing about this food here in Italy, Matt, is it's a lot better than American food, if I'm being completely honest, and it's a lot more organic. It's so much more fresh. So you could eat like double the food here and gain half the weight that you would at home, just because the food is way more organic and fresh than us rude Americans in America.
I have heard that before. I haven't made my way over to Italy yet, but it seems like a beautiful country, great food. Definitely have that on the bucket list at some point.
Have you been across the pond before?
No, I haven't. Really, my bucket list is I want to go to Ireland. We have some family lineage from there. That would be my number one to go see overseas. I don't feel like I have to get to Italy just because I don't have that same connection, but if I get to a point in life where I feel like I want to travel a little bit more, that's definitely a place where I feel like I'd end up at.
Yeah, Ireland's fun because I'm also Connor is a very Irish name as well, Matt. So we share that heritage there for sure. Ireland's cool though because it's like somewhat of a short flight. Like Italy is 9 hours away. Ireland, I believe, if we were to go to like JFK, Matt, is like 5 hours, 5.5 hours. So it also isn't crazy long, which certainly adds to the fun.
For sure. Looks like we have our first call on the line. Do you want to bring that up?
You already know, Matt O'Leary.
All right, let's go out. We'll add in Zach to the mix here. Zach, how's it going?
Oh.
You are muted. We can't hear you.
Your camera's a little pixelated. We can't hear you.
Nope. All right. We'll go back to Zach if he gets the camera situated and on air. In the meantime, we can go to another familiar face. King Jamie the Mad, our favorite Chiefs fan.
Hey boys. Can you hear me good?
You are coming.
How are you doing?
Awesome. I'm doing pretty good, bro. I'm glad you're in Sorrento. I loved that town. That's just a beautiful town. Yeah, there was a pizza shop in the main square. Did you go hit that up?
What was it called? Do you remember the name, perhaps?
I have no kind of memory like that. It's been like 2 years. Yeah, but it was fantastic, man. It was like my taste buds lost their virginity. It was the best pizza I've ever had in my life. Unbelievable.
We went to a place that might have been near that. It was called like Aussie or Aussies or something like that. And the pizza there was delicious. And so I don't know what you're talking about. The city as a whole was incredible. Like everyone, the streets made of cobblestone. Everyone walking in the street. Like it was so interesting. I was trying to compare it to places. It was a place like no other. A place that I haven't.
It's like no other for sure. Looking down off the cliffs right there too. Wow, it's just beautiful, man. Oh, and Matt. Definitely. If you get to Ireland, I had probably the best time in a little town called Dingle. There's 1,500 people and 52 pubs. You know I like some beer.
Sounds like my kind of place. I like it.
Dude, actually the whole place is wonderful. When I go to Ireland, I stay for like 14 days or something and just travel. There's so many castles and so many pretty little towns. And when you get off the plane in Shannon, Ireland, don't fly to Dublin, fly to Shannon. Because when you get off the plane, you're going to look around and go, they said it was green, but I didn't believe it was like this. It's so stinking green, man. It's like nothing you'll ever see. It's truly an Emerald Isle, man.
Oh, I got to get over there.
Dude, and go to the cliffs of Moher because it's like 750 feet sheer rock face down to the ocean. And just looking off of those cliffs at the ocean is just breathtaking, bro. You got to go. You should get out some.
No,
Make it happen.
I'm stuck in front of this computer way too much. But no, for real, I do want to get over there. The Cliffs of Moher is on the bucket list, and
that's so pretty.
Definitely want to hit up the Jameson distillery. That's
yeah.
Matt, is there a honeymoon plan?
We don't have where we're going yet, so I don't know if we're gonna do a Europe trip, but if we do, that would be number one for me for sure.
That'd be really cool, man. Ooh, that's such a pretty place, bro. Yeah, that'd be a cool honeymoon. Oh, heck yeah. So, how many more guys do you boys have to cut? Because I know we have to get rid of like 200 people per team right now just to get down to our rosters.
Yeah,
I think it's like 12. I think there's like 12 more to go. So there's some names we're still waiting on over here.
Yeah, I think it's 11 if my because my Aaron Boog Smith report has yet to be confirmed by anyone else, but I doubt that Aaron Boog Smith will be making this team. So, and per my report, he has already been waived. So 11 or 12, whatever way you want to call it, but in that range for sure.
So who do you hope clears waivers and you can keep him at least for practice team? Somebody that's already just been cut.
For me, my answer is Brandon Smith, wide receiver. He's had a strong preseason. I was hoping he was going to make the roster, but with Alan Lazard getting healthy, it seemed like it ended up being the odd man out. But I'd like to see him make his way back to the practice squad.
How about you, Connor?
I'd say Brandon Smith. I'd say Quentin Skinner, the UDFA out of Kansas. I'll throw in Jarek Bernard Converse, those guys, because those are the guys who I think are NFL caliber players and frankly got just the bad end of the bone when you talk about being waived.
Well, Lazard is proven, and so I don't think it's like too bad of a thing for him to stay because he's cheap. He just took a better deal to stay. He's proven himself already in the NFL, and he's not bad at all. And so for the money, Lazard's a great keep, you know. And so
without Rodgers is the question. Aaron Rodgers has made Alan Lazard's career. And we saw what no Rodgers did to him in 2023, and it was not pretty.
Yeah, I used to just love Aaron Rodgers, and then I saw what he did to you guys, and now it just rubs me the wrong way. You ever take a cat and dunk its head in a bucket of water and look at its face? That's how I feel when we talk about Aaron Rodgers. He can kick rocks, man. I was kind of upset. You guys are my friends. I like you Jets fans, you know, and so.
Yeah.
When he did that, I was like, oh, come on, man. We had so much hope, you know.
And then just taken out of our hands, like it always happens.
Yeah.
I'm used to it at this point. It's all right. I'm not even going to fight it.
Hard not to be. But, King Jamie, we appreciate you checking in with us on this fine day.
Much love, boys. See you.
Later.
Peace.
Good stuff. We said our favorite Chiefs fan is he's always in the mix, checking out and supporting our work. We did see a tweet from Samini, or I saw while we had King Jamie on the line. That makes me a little bit nervous, Connor. Pull that up.
God, not if you're nervous.
Cuts had to be submitted by 4 p.m. The Jets have not announced their cuts. Some teams prefer to wait until the waiver wire is released 7 or 8-ish, thinking it gives them a competitive advantage. Connor, I don't know about you, but I don't plan to be on the air from 7 to 8 or 8 o'clock at night from now.
Matt, that's 1 to 2 in the morning my time. So it's 10:23 here. I'll give the Jets till midnight. If they're not ready by midnight, guess what? Kick rocks. I am done with this team. Truly, like you can't even get cut down day right. Like, come on. I need the drop of you. You know, are you effing kidding me about the Fields injury here? I mean, this is an absolute joke, Matt.
No, I don't want to have to wait that long. Although that might be a good lead-in for Talking Jets, but that's the thing, right?
Oh, true. You got Talking Jets tonight.
I do have Talking Jets. I do have to record Just Jets for tomorrow still. That might have to be a wake up early and do it on Wednesday thing because we might not know the state of the roster yet.
You wouldn't do the Talking Jets ends at 10. You wouldn't do like an 11-1 Talking Jets record edit. You wouldn't do that.
I could, but do I really want to?
Yeah, really. Bags under your eyes, you'd be exhausted.
Yeah, not ideal.
Certainly. Oh wow, Gabriel number 2. Damn.
Yeah,
this team just hates Shedeur Sanders.
Well, I don't think he really that second or I guess their most recent preseason game. There were some rough reps in there. Not that Dylan Gabriel was awesome either, but I don't get why people are so up in arms about how the Browns are treating a 5th round pick quarterback in Shedeur Sanders.
The reason why I'm up in arms is because I don't think if this guy's last name was Sanders, first, he wouldn't have been selected in the 5th round. Second, I think he'd be a backup quarterback or a starter somewhere right now. I think that's the reason. Reminds me a lot of Bronny James in the NBA. I just think that last name carries so much weight, Matt, where you do one thing incorrectly, you're going to get tortured for it in the media. I mean, Bronny James didn't attend a press conference for the Lakers, and he was, faded out to be this awful teammate, this awful person. If that was some other 2nd round pick in the NBA, Matt, which is equivalent to a 7th round pick in the NBA, not right. Showing up to a team's press conference, they would not have gotten that much flack. So I think we're seeing the last names now carry so much weight.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's true, especially with the Bronny comparison. I didn't think of that.
You're not a basketball guy, Matt, but I'm sure you see the Bronny stuff.
Yeah, I see it. I'm not really a big basketball fan, but LeBron's is such a huge name that obviously I know that his son is in the league and was drafted by the Lakers. And, should he be on the team? Should he not? It takes over SportsCenter and the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. You're a SportsCenter guy. You still watch SportsCenter when you wake up?
Not anymore, but if we're talking like 2006 waiting for the bus, there was nothing better than waiting for the top 10 plays from the previous day to come on.
I like SportsCenter still. Like I the only show that I personally don't like is First Take, and I'll admit it's entertaining. I think when we talk about the current media landscape as a whole, I think media just needs to do a better job of taking the attention off the personalities and putting it onto the sport and the players, because I think it's easy to forget about the sport when you have all these personalities. Like watching Stephen A. Smith and Chris Mad Dog Russo jaw at each other. Sure, it's fun, but I think people want to tune in to hear sports. And when you start talking about personalities, I think that takes the attention off the game. Someone who I think does such a great job of doing that is Kevin Nagandi. Like you don't even know Kevin Nagandi's name, I bet you, and he's such a popular broadcaster. You turn on SportsCenter, the average to below average SportsCenter listener probably doesn't know the name of Kevin Nagandi, probably doesn't know everything about him, because he does a great job of taking the attention off of himself, putting it up more on the sports. I think that's what media needs to do moving forward.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Let the sports do the talking. That's the best way to do it.
Absolutely. Okay, I just got they send the JetX Slack the same Samini tweet as you just pulled up. I was like, oh my God, was there a new one? But no, it's just the same old at the end of the day. So if they submit cuts at 7 p.m., Matt, are we serious? This is
we will not be live for that. I think we give it to a little after 5 o'clock here, which is
what time is it? What time is it now for you? 4:30.
4:28.
Yeah, perfect. Let's do that. And if you always got to bounce, I can keep it going if you want. I'm cool. We can roll for however much longer you guys want. Just get these cuts in soon, because I want to go to sleep. It's 10:30. I want to be asleep by 1. And if the Jets release cuts at 12, I won't be asleep by 1. If the Jets release cuts by 11, I'll be asleep at 1:15. So release cuts soon. Come on, guys. I'm tired of waiting on this team. Come on. Like they've done nothing. If you win the Super Bowl, you can do this, Matt. But given the production, the product they've put on the field?
No, definitely not for cut down day for the 53-man roster. That's not when we're doing this.
Oh, no, definitely not. Cut down day. Oh, and this team has so many bubble players as well. You know, this roster has been finalized since the final whistle of that Philadelphia Eagles game.
It's a little
What
gamesmanship.
is the holdup? Yeah, it's okay, Jets. You're not asserting. Oh, maybe they're talking to a tight end on the open market. Maybe they're talking to a linebacker. Who knows what they're doing? Who knows? Maybe they're did Tim Patrick make the Lions 53, Matt? I know they put it out.
Good question. Let me go back and look. I was not looking for it.
I'm sure that would have been put everywhere. Maybe they're talking to Jelani Woods right now. Maybe that's the holdup. They're talking to Jelani Woods, and that is the reason why we haven't gotten an official announcement yet. Who knows, though? I have to imagine Tim Patrick.
I don't see his name here.
Wow. Did Tim Patrick make the Lions roster? Let's see. Simple.
No, I think he made it. Hendon Hooker didn't. He got waived.
Interesting. Okay. I feel like this would have been somewhere if Tim Patrick didn't get cut.
Yeah, I'm assuming that he made it. Oh, okay. We do have a Jets one.
Oh, they're out?
Not all of it, but Rosenblatt updated. Whoop, wrong tab. I apologize. The Jets are waiving running back Donovan Edwards. He will be a target for the practice squad, which sounds about right.
Yeah, there we go. Get him on the practice squad. Cool. Like, I don't want him to play a role in this team, but there's something there. You trade Breece Hall midway through the season. Worst case scenario, you see something out of him. Yeah, I was hoping you had the whole roster, but
no, that would have been really nice. That would have been nice, obviously, but they're coming in one by one. Donovan Edwards found out that he didn't make it. Zach Rosenblatt shared the news. I can't say I'm too surprised by that one, Connor.
Not at all. One okay preseason game. Look, if this Breece Hall wasn't on this team and Kene Nwangu wasn't on this roster, sure, there's a conversation, but this is just a casualty at that point.
Yeah, and like the tweet said, I think he will be someone that makes it back to the practice squad.
Undoubtedly so. It's just, announce the roster. We've done all these cuts. Come on. I just don't understand, and I can't emphasize enough. I don't understand what the holdup is. What could it possibly be?
They're
worked in media forever, Matt.
Well, I was gonna say, according to Samini, they just want to wait. Yeah, till it gets closer to the waivers at 7 or 8 o'clock. But don't know.
I don't know what to even do at this point, Matt. Because you know what this is gonna. You know what's gonna happen here. We're gonna end the show, and then they're gonna announce the roster.
That's usually how this goes. Which, again, we're trying to stay on for as long as we can, but it's just a little annoying when it's rosters are due by 4, and it's 4:32, and we don't know. We still got them trickling in one at a time. Who's next? Who are we gonna find out that got that cut next?
Folks, these are the intense negotiations between podcasters that occur backstage when we're talking about the duration of a show, and you guys are seeing it unfold live here, which is interesting. Matt, I gotta handle something literally 10 seconds. If you could just run the show for 10 seconds, that's gonna open the door quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will pull back up the chat here. Jetster brings up honestly a pretty good point, and just saying that nothing that will happen today will have an effect on game 1. Most likely true, right? Like, we are talking about, I said it earlier, but guy 51, 52, and 53 on the roster. You're obviously hoping that you don't have to worry about them having a major impact on this team. That should not be the main concern point. We do have a call behind the lines. We're going to go out next to our boy. Johnny Boy joins the show. Johnny, how's it going, my friend?
Enjoying this non-telling us of the roster day so far.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to get, I guess, one cut every 15 minutes until we figure out what the 53 is.
Yeah, for real, man. I wanted to ask you, do you really think that Ruck is gone?
I don't know personally. I think he is on the fence for sure. And to me, it's going to be dependent on if they find someone on the waiver wire that they like more than Rucker. But if not, then I think he's back.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know, man. It's intriguing to see who is going to get cut. I mean, the JBC one, I mean, I thought he was going to get cut just because of the injuries, but he did have a good, off season or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It's the Corley stuff. That one needed to happen.
Yeah.
It had to happen. So I thought that he was going to be something, but unfortunately, he wasn't. And he couldn't even show it playing against stir stringers and all that. So what does that say in regards to that?
No, and that's the thing. I think they were just looking for him to show literally anything, and unfortunately, just didn't do much. I believe only had the one catch in the preseason. It was like 8 yards too. So didn't get a ton of run when he was playing late into the game in the third and fourth quarter against the Eagles. I think that was final nail in the coffin. You knew it was coming.
Yeah, exactly. But just came on here, man. See, hopefully, trying to bring you guys some luck a little bit, but it's not. Hey, about them Mets though, right?
Yeah, I'm going to the game on Friday with a big group of my friends from back home. So I'm looking forward to it. And the Mets called up a new pitcher who's going to be starting on Friday.
Yeah, Nolan, right?
No, Jonah Tom.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, he that'd be intriguing, man, because he's been dominant so far. So I'm glad they're doing it. But other than that, do you see any big names that could potentially get cut that we will scoop up?
At this point, I don't think so. There just haven't really been a lot of big names that have hit, the cuts yet. I feel like the Lions are the only team that has fully put out their entire 53, I think. But I don't think we're going to see anybody that's like a real needle mover at this point.
Exactly. And that's what I wanted to say in regards to that. Like, the team that we're going to have is going to be the team that we're going to run with, and the wide receiving room is the wide receiving room. I don't see us picking up anything big. I mean, so you said Tim Patrick made it, right?
Yeah, he made the Lions. That was maybe the only other guy that I could have seen them potentially adding.
Yeah, and then with the Lazard being week 1, and he's good and healthy, they're running with it. So we'll see, man.
Yeah.
But Matt, appreciate you, man. Keep doing it up here. Hopefully they do something. Hey, I tell you this much, if the Steelers cut Darnell Washington, Mount Washington, make him a Jet as soon as he clears the waivers. Like, as soon as he clears those waivers.
I would do that in a second. I think Pittsburgh's going to keep him, though. I think they roll with 3 tight ends, those 3.
I agree. I think I saw that they did cut one of the other tight ends that was in the conversation as well. So, but it is what it is. All right, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Later, Johnny. All right. Good stuff there. We'll keep it rolling from one legend to another. We got Purple Belt Mike. Purple Belt Mike, what's going on, my friend?
Yeah, I'm confident we're keeping Pritchard. I like what he can do. He might fumble the football in a game with a punt return or whatever, but he's actually going to bring us some electricity. So I think he's going to make the team, and I want to be on the team.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he is a clear upgrade over Xavier Gibson at returner. And, you can reference the fumble that he had at the beginning of that game against the Eagles. One, he recovered it, which is obviously most important, but then he had a couple of good returns after that and, made some plays as a pass catcher. I think with his speed and yard after the catch ability, he could get on the field.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just kind of like if Quinnen gets hurt and we don't have someone to kind of fill that spot, that's why I think LT3 needs to make the team, but I have a feeling he's not going to make it.
I don't think so either. I have a feeling they want to get him back to the practice squad is going to be my assumption. A little bummed that he's not going to make it, especially after the 2 trades that they made to bring in Briggs and Phillips. I just think there's too many people in front of him now at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And we'll see what happens, but yeah. And I also think Ruckert's going to be on the team until they could find a blocking tight end to replace him because the writing is on the wall.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think if I had to guess, he will make the 53-man roster, but I don't know if that's like, hey, your spot's guaranteed for the whole year kind of thing. Like,
Yeah,
he
I'm
might not
for
even
someone.
Yeah, wait for someone else to get cut. Maybe he makes it and is like isn't active even on game day, and they just want to roll with like Andrew Beck in his role. But yeah, his spot for sure is not guaranteed. I'm with you there.
It's unbelievable looking back at it that Jody really was like 40% good, 60% bad.
I know it was such
like crazy. It's like, oh,
very volatile, right? Had some awesome picks, had some really good moves, and had some real clunkers, man. And unfortunately, the clunkers just stood out way more than the positives that he did when he was here.
The one good thing about him was his trading ability, and that's it, really.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I don't know if he lost a trade. The John Franklin Myers one. Maybe one of his last trades that he made was the one that he lost.
Yeah, and that crippled us. Yeah.
So.
How we doing?
Connor, did you try the gnocchi yet? Did you have that?
That's tomorrow, PBM. Tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
That's not made the plan. I will let you know how it is, PBM.
Hell yeah. All right, doing a good job, guys. Peace.
Later.
You. Peace. I am sorry about that, Matt. That was supposed to be 10 seconds. I was going into the hallway to handle something quickly, and then I realized I closed the door, and the room key was in the hotel. So I needed to go downstairs and get a new key. And I was oh, it's so fine. I'll just text Matt. And then my phone and my laptop are both in the other room. So got it handled at least. And no, I'm surprised the Jets didn't release the 53 the second that I put the computer down.
No.
It just shows how they want us to be completely off the air. But I thought I saw DB in Rosenblatt's tweet quickly. So I was like, oh, they released a new player, but it was just the Edwards one.
So this is a interesting, not Jets related, but in division related. The Patriots released Cole Strange, former first round pick.
Wow. Okay. They want to part ways with all the stars, but Cole, he's the tackle, right? Cole Strange, are we talking about?
No, I believe
the tight end. Guard.
Yeah, I was gonna say I believe he was drafted as a guard, might have played some center also. But that was a weird draft pick. I remember being live for that one, and he was projected to go in like the 3rd or 4th round, and he ended up going in round 1.
Oh God, that reminds me of the Will McDonald pick, but at least that is provided somewhat of a spark 2 years in. So interesting. Yeah, I mean, parting ways from your high draft picks are tough. Even parting ways with Corley, who was a 3rd round pick, was difficult.
We also, while you were gone, Thomas Morstead got cut.
Wow, Thomas Morstead got cut. Who's the punter there? Is it Mitch Wisnowski?
Let me pull it up. I don't know off the top of my head here.
It's Mitch Wisnowski, it looks like.
Okay.
No, it says their current punter is Thomas Morstead.
Maybe they'll bring him back.
He will likely be on. He'll likely be back on the roster tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So, like, who the hell is their backup?
Yeah, that was a roster gymnastics move, like we talked about. Very common around these times.
Yeah. I just got I don't know if this means anything. I just got a DM from someone on Twitter who to my opinion, knows nothing. Is not connected to the league. I know nothing about this person. All I know is he comments on my Jets X Factor articles all the time and support on mine. He says I should not use his name, but he DM me on Twitter, quote, please do not use my name, but it's confirmed McGregor has made the 53-man roster. So I don't know if we should be trusting this person, but if Braden McGregor is on the 53-man roster, we might have the Jets version of Pretty Ricky, if you will, Matt.
Yeah, there you go. I would be okay with that. I don't mind Braden McGregor.
Him or Kingsley Jonathan, it's kind of pick your poison with one of them. Doesn't matter to me.
Let's go back to the phone lines. We have Zach on the line. Let's pull him up. Zach, what's going on?
Hey man, how's it going?
Doing good. What's up?
Just got out of school. I'm still trying to get through high school, but stock Jets, man.
So what's
what
your
grade are you in?
God.
What grade are you in, Zach?
I'm a junior.
Okay, so you got me by a couple years. I'm going to my freshman year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's on your mind though?
Just really glad we got those UDFA receivers, Pritchett and Brandon Smith. Man, ooh, I like them a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it. They waived Smith earlier though. Unfortunately, they waived Smith and Skinner. So
yeah,
look, they're not going to make the 53, the initial 53, as I like to say, but. If assuming they clear waivers, I could certainly see him back on the practice squad.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I've been hearing a lot of talk about Jacoby Myers, maybe Alec Pierce trading for a receiver. Personally, I think just roll with the guys we have and see from there. I just think this is a build year, just a real rebuild. See what we got in the tank.
I'm with Zach there, Matt. You've been more open to the wide receiver 2 trade than I have, right?
I'm definitely open to it. I just don't know how likely it is. I think Jacoby Myers would be an upgrade, but it really depends on what the cost is in trade. Like if it's a day 2 pick, I don't know if I want to give up a second or third round pick with the Jets, likely chances of having to move up for a quarterback next year. But if they could do like a 4th or 5th round again, because maybe he needs a contract and the value is a little bit lower, that's something that I would consider, but I don't know how likely it is. If I was betting, I think they probably just run it back with what they have.
Yeah, and if we can get rid of a day 3 pick for a wide receiver too, I'm all for that. But I just think we need to build in the draft. I like what Darren Muji's done with this first year. I like Membu and Mason Taylor, especially Malachi Moore. I think he'll start over Tony Adams. I like him more. It's just that preseason game against Philly, he was everywhere, man. What do you have, like a sack, a pick, and
yeah. I think you're thinking of Dean Clark. But Malachi Moore, the final preseason game against
Philly.
I'm
talking about against Philly, yeah. Dean Clark Clark was everywhere against the Giants.
The Giants. Yes, okay, I see the game you're talking. Yeah, he had a huge hit in special teams as well. I think Tony Adams is the starting strong safety to open the year. It's one of those things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Week 10, Zach, is when you see a player like Malachi Moore fill that role.
Sweet. Good stuff, Zach. Thanks for the call in.
Yep.
I appreciate the call. I just going back to what he was saying there on Malachi Moore. I think, like you were saying, not at the beginning of the year, but would not be surprised at all if we do eventually see him make the team, or not make the team, but make the starting lineup.
Definitely. Some injury news here. Adam Schefter reporting Cardinals first round pick Walter Nolan is being placed on the PUP list due to a calf injury to open the year. PUP is never what you want to see to open the season.
No, that's not great. He will miss the first 4 games of the year. That's tough. You hate to hear that.
I like Walter Nolan too, right out of Ole Miss. Him and Princely, I cannot pronounce his last name.
Oh yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. But
it's like Umani. I'm not even gonna try to say that mouthful.
Yeah. You know what? I'm honestly pretty surprised with the number of people who have chimed in saying that
I've seen that.
Target Hunter Renfrow.
I want nothing to do with him, Matt. Like I've been opposed to adding a wide receiver too, but this guy's done nothing since what really was it 2022. I know I like I'm taking Jamal Pritchett before I take Hunter Renfrow any day of the week.
He's been not effective for 3 years now, right? Like 2021, he had 1,000 yards. Awesome. 330 yards in 22, 255 in 2023. 0 last year. Like I think it's done with him, unfortunately.
Yeah, the injuries really killed him. Those knee injuries to receivers. Some bounce back, but some like Renfrow are unfortunately never able to. Ryan with some breaking news in the chat. His sources say Josh Allen is expected to make the Bills roster.
Whoa, that's big news. big news.
Oh yeah, I love those. Michael Nania does a great job from JetX by putting like the humorous tweets out that are hilarious. He put one out the other day. He said, "I love the headlines where it's like Jets mulling to trade for uber talented $34 million quarterback," and it's some rando tweeting the Jets should trade for Anthony Richardson. That's what this time of year is about, though. Just making up meaningless situations that'll never come to fruition.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes in August. We're talking football here.
Certainly. How do we want to handle this, Matt? What is the plan here? Because we are 50 minutes past expected release time.
I'm gonna say 5 o'clock. So we'll do a couple minutes past 5. Let's say 15 more minutes here. We'll do it like right at the 2-hour mark on the stream.
And I know Matt has Talking Jets at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So check Matt out there. And then if we're not on for the roster, when the roster comes out, I will be going live on my channel to give an immediate reaction. So that as well. But oh god, we literally set up a cut down day stream starting an hour before the scheduled start time. And the Jets aren't going to get Jake Asman, Matt, our colleague Jake did it right. He's going live after it happened. We thought we were I thought this would be a good idea going live before. Seems like Jake has it all figured out and he knows that this team just likes to piss us off.
So the Eagles released their 53-man roster like 20 minutes ago. But what I like that they did it in a video in number order. I think that's a really cool way to go about breaking your roster.
They have a Super Bowl winning social media team as well, it appears. So good for the Eagles. That's cool. I've never seen a team do that. Normally it's just an article on the website. And I remember last year, the article on the Jets website was not specific at all. So that was just give me something. I don't care if it's the most I don't care if I need to sit and figure it out like a jigsaw puzzle for multiple hours. Just give us something at this rate. But this is Aaron Glenn. This is what he likes to do. He doesn't want to give his hand. He doesn't want to tip anything to the public. Oh God.
Just do a tweet. I'm good with just block text, quarterback, 1-2, running back, 1-3. I'll make it nice and easy.
Just list the players. Like I don't care if it's a video of each player. Like just do something. Do something, Matt. You think they're gonna make any roster moves ahead of the season post cut down day? You see that, or is that just all smoke?
I mean, it's definitely possible. We've talked a ton about tight end and wide receiver. I'm not gonna say no, but it's hard to predict right now when you still don't know what the other 53-man rosters around the league look like.
Did the Steelers release theirs yet, Matt? Because there were some players I was tabbing there.
Let me check. I will try to pull that.
I'll get that. Yeah, I don't have my monitors, so it's different.
They have a beautiful graphic for theirs. This is
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Give me that for the Jets. Oh, damn, they went with all 4 of their tight ends.
Yeah, I figured that's what you'd be looking for. Freiermuth, Smith, Washington, Connor Hayward makes it. On the defensive side, I don't know if anything stands out to you there.
Wait, defensively is okay. Hayward's on the roster. He's not on reserve, which tells me that there's trending in the right direction from a negotiation standpoint.
Right.
Intriguing there. Oh, I was hoping they would get rid of one of those tight ends. And my thought process was like, you have such a high-end backup in Jonnu Smith as well. You can afford to cut Connor Hayward or Darnell Washington loose.
They like to use their 3 tight ends, though. That's what they like to do.
Arthur Smith finds a way to somehow bite the Jets, even when he's not coaching against them. Or if he was the Jets head coach, Matt, I don't know if we'd be here covering this team every day. Arthur Smith was the Jets head coach.
The Giants released theirs also.
Okay.
Pull that up. I don't know if there's really anything of note. Obviously, all the 3 quarterbacks make it as expected.
So all 3 quarterbacks for the Giants. What did they do at tight end? Is Bellinger's there?
Yeah.
Bellinger's actually. because they released Dolchich earlier, so they roll with 4. There's nothing really. Bo Collins, high on that depth chart.
Well, yeah. After that play against the Jets, I think that was the standout.
That was the play where the Giants were like, make him the wide receiver too behind Malik Neighbors.
Andre Sisco broken coverage. That was enough to do it.
That will earn you a roster spot any day of the week in the NFL, Matt. Have there been any surprise cuts? I don't feel like I've seen any huge news.
I think Cole Strange was a surprising one from the Pats.
Cole Strange, other than that, though. I see a tweet here that Dolphins kicker Jason Sanders has been placed on injured reserve. I know it'd be an in-division trade, but give me a 7th round pick for Harrison the Thicker Kicker Mevis, baby. We can make that happen.
Yeah, you could, right? Some draft capital for signing a UDFA kicker, right? Or, well, no, I guess not technically a UDFA because they got him from the XFL, CFL,
UFL.
Doing the extra leagues.
Yeah, did he play for Anthony Beck's team? What team did Harrison Mevis?
Rough Riders?
Let's see. It was the Birmingham Stallions.
I was off.
Was the team that he played for. I tried to get into the UFL. My friend Jack, one of my friends who I do the Next Gen show with, Matt, has gotten into the UFL, and he roots for the Battlehawks because that's Anthony Beck's team. I was going to get into it. I was like, I'm going to root for the DC Defenders because that was the team that Tanner Engstrand was the offensive coordinator of a few years ago. So it's like, I'll root for them. I think Kellen Mond was their starting quarterback to open the year. And then I watched like a quarter of a game and I'm like, I understand the model playing football in the summer, but this product is absolutely hideous. There are some good players though in that league. Like the former Panthers 3rd round pick is in the league. Matt Corral, I think is his name. The 3rd round pick.
He was Carolina, right? Is where he was drafted?
Yeah, with Carolina. He's in the UFL. Same with Max Duggan, who was like a 4th round pick from TCU, what feels like 2 years ago. And he's already experimenting with the UFL now. So changing times. I mean, we're in dire straits when you're talking about the UFL on a Jets show, Matt, and talking about flipping Harrison Mevis for a 7th round pick.
An in-division trade to the Dolphins for a 7th round pick. Got to do it.
Oh my god. Where? Let's see. David says Bears released former 3rd round pick DT Zach Pickens today. Surprised by this. Give me Desmond Watson, Matt. I know they're going to try to get him on their practice squad. Give me him on our practice squad with the Jets. The Jets have a higher waiver claim than the Bucks. I don't care. He could stay at that weight and play for my football team. I'm not going to make him lose weight. Just
did he practice or did he just walk at training camp?
He did not participate in one drill. He walked the whole time because he needed to lose weight. It was just walking around barefoot for Desmond.
That sounds horrible. Just walking in the Florida sun all day. That was your job.
Oh, that's brutal. And like if I were him, I'd be pissed too because I'd be like, you're stalling my development as a player. Like playing if that weight isn't healthy, but at the same time, like you have to give the guy a chance to prove himself. Like You're stalling his development. Like he was a UDFA. He needs every single snap in training camp. He didn't take one snap. So I'd be pissed if I was him as a player.
No, I would be as well. It was definitely a tough situation.
Certainly. Looks like Jay Higgins, the linebacker, made the 53 for the Ravens. Ravens are such a good team, yet they have UDFAs making their roster.
They scout well. That's what they do. They just have a pool that ends up coming and back and back and back. That's how they're good for every single year. It feels like.
I'm gonna be honest. When and I hate to say this because one of my best friends is a Ravens fan. When the Ravens are playing their best football, no one in the league is better than them. I know Patrick Mahomes will always be the best quarterback in the league, but that run game paired with that defense, it's in that territory like one we've never seen before. That's the one game that I'm circling off as like the Jets stand no chance of winning that game. Like if there was a 15.5-point spread, I would take I would still take the Ravens in that game. Like that's the game where it's like the Jets just are
bad
no chance. Bad
Really
matchup,
bad
exactly.
matchup, especially with how much they run the ball with Lamar and Derrick Henry. That I'm with you. That's one that is circled on the schedule as a loss. I'm going to be honest. That is probably the game I'll be into the least this year because that is the day after the wedding. So I'm going to be
the hangover.
It's going to be tough. Yeah. It's going to be a long day for me, I think.
You might stroll out of bed like 2 hours after the game ends.
you never know. We do have a breakfast the next day, but I think I'll just be laying on the couch and just the post-game video will be Jets lost, insert score here, click upload.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, Jets lose, 2-second reaction. The Jets lost another football game, period. End show.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh my God. Boy, oh boy. Still no news from this team. Still no news.
It's 5:00 on the dot. So we give it another, couple minutes past the hour here, but we might have to wait until 7 or 8 o'clock, according to Rich Cimini, who's usually pretty good with this stuff.
Which is 1 to 2 in the morning for myself. So not looking pretty, but I will say this. There will be a stream of some caliber on NY Flight Jets Talk when said roster gets released. I don't care what time it is.
That is, the grind does not stop for our guy Connor Long.
No way. This team, like, I know I've mentioned it enough, but like seriously, words cannot express how frustrated I am with this football team right now. That we literally just sat here and did a 2-hour show hoping for the roster to come out, and it's an hour later on it's just it's insane. Only the Jets, Matt.
We've seen plenty of other rosters come through. The Giants, we saw the Steelers, Chargers, I think did there. No, not the Chargers. Who was the other one we pulled up? The Lions were first.
Lions, Eagles, all these different teams, and only the Jets. It's only the Jets. Every single Matt. When I was planning out this with you earlier today, I was thinking of a lot of things, and with the Jets, they give you a lot of different options. They're typically always the worst case scenario. This is not something that crossed my mind at all. I never thought we would sit here and do a 2-hour show, say on an hour after, and the roster wouldn't come out.
Yeah, I know. It's that's the way it is.
Do we want to call it quits, Matt, or do we want to give it a couple?
I was going to say we give it right to the 2-hour mark.
Okay, perfect. So has it been the okay, so 3 minutes. There we go, Jets. You got 3 minutes to make an announcement here. Or Matt O'Leary and I are saying good riddance. At least you'll be live when it breaks, Matt, in some degree.
Yeah, that's
not on your own channel.
No, but we'll be around for Talking Jets at 8 o'clock. Yeah. If we do get the 53 before that, I'll just do a video reaction. I won't go live for another hour again because it's going to be a lot of 2 hours here. Have another 2 hours coming up later tonight. So I'll just do a video reaction with the biggest names that were cut.
Do they even, I've wondered this because so many things with Aaron Glenn have crossed my mind. This might be a stupid question. Do teams technically even have to announce their 53-man roster on social media? Like, could the Jets wait until tomorrow?
I don't think they have to announce it on socials. They could definitely, should we just check their website? Imagine after all this, it was like, hey, we posted the article on our website. We just didn't tweet it out.
I checked it a little while ago. No, nothing. Nothing there. It'll come out one way or another through the transaction wire, though. So even if the Jets don't announce it, the media will see all the moves on the transaction wire.
That's true. We will see it on the wire at some point. Hopefully that's not how it breaks, though. That can't be.
That would be brutal.
This tweet from the Jets press made me laugh. They're really going to make us wait until 8 p.m., aren't they? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. There was a tweet that Justin Freed, I mean, what a guy who runs that Twitter account. He was putting out some Buffalo Jet fan-esque tweets today here on this show. There was one replying to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift getting engaged. Then he quote tweeted and said, "Yeah, but did you hear Bump Cooper cleared waivers and reverted to Jets IR?"
That's fantastic. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, for sure. 45 seconds, Jets. 45
Come on.
seconds.
Watch. We're gonna hit end stream and it'll pop up.
That would be even more frustrating than the fact that we just did this whole show. And
I think they're waiting for us to go off.
you want to know what they're waiting for, Matt? They're waiting for like 15 minutes before Talking Jets starts for you guys. So you go record a video and then potentially miss being late to Talking Jets because of this team's incompetence.
That sounds about right, unfortunately.
Probably what they would do. Probably. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, Matt, this was fun. This will be one that we remember. Undoubtedly so. This will be a stream that we remember, doing 2 hours on 4 cuts, 8 cuts, or whatever it is that have been announced by the Jets today. So, in the books.
All right, guys, that'll do it for us on this one. Thanks for hanging out. Sorry the official roster didn't drop, out of our control, but I think, being on the air for 2 hours here, we kind of just sit around twiddling our thumbs until they actually announce it. So we're going to call it for Connor. I'm Matt O'Leary. We'll catch you guys next time.